Hello and welcome back. This is Sunday evening, 24th September. Relatively lively week, but I have got quite a bit done on the railway. Let's just follow that down behind the station there. Got the B12 running on the outside line of Series 3. Get that coming around now. Got the rake of blood and custards on there. I think that looks quite splendid. And I did get that point electrified, the last point to go in. Let's just see that B12 come through here. Duchess storming down the side of the railway again there. So the point that's in the centre of shot there, that's all electrified now and runs really, really nicely. So I think I said before that's possibly the last of the points going to go in this railway, he says, until we come up with another devious plan. So let's let that Duchess go around one more time and let's see if I can grab some control over the B12 here. So off that goes around the railway. I've got the handhelds around here. Let's see if we can bring this one to a stop. Ooh. There we go. Concentrating on where I'm pointing the camera, I turned the switch in completely the wrong direction. So we'll have another go at that. Let's stop that in this station instead. There we go. Definitely a concentration thing. There we go. Off under the station. Let me grab all of the controls. So we're running sort of that amount of power down there. Let's see if we can bring this to the corner of the railway and we'll just whip the locomotive off the rails. Definitely takes it out of it coming through the curves. And let's see if we can stop that there. We'll back that up a little bit. Yeah, so this Duchess was really slipping the wheels a great deal more than the Duchess of Montrose. I know they're slightly different ages, but I think the wheels are possibly made out of the same material. Similar motor, although one motor has a horseshoe magnet. So let's see if we can unhook that. Let's see if we can just drop this down. And drop being the wrong word, of course. So I'm just going to put it down on this catalogue. I'm going to have a glance at that in a moment. So what I'd found, I also refinished these pickup shoes as well. These pickup skates, look at that, it's nice and floppy is the wrong word, but it's not hard and stiff against the rails, which was causing where the track undulates, because obviously my track isn't perfect. It goes up and down a little, and it wasn't following the contour quite as nicely as it could. It was very shall we say the spring had gone hard, is one way of putting it. It was the older type. Let's see if we can just shuffle this one apart here. So I got a couple of locomotives with that type of spring in the pickup shoe, and it has a sort of piece of bent metal to hold that down in place, and then either end of those lie on the shoes, pushing it down on the track. So so Nigel Gresley's got these, but it works quite nicely. There's another one, I can't remember which one it is at the moment, but I've replaced it with these. These are the slightly later type Hornby Dublo used. I don't know when they swapped over. This is a reproduction one, and I think it works quite well. It's enabled this to work much, much nicer. I think it was just holding or just taking the wheels marginally off contact. So yeah, I think that's been a good modification. Let's pop that back over there, and we'll get that on the rails in a moment. Well, at some point. Let's just grab this sheet. So this is a Hornby Dublo service sheet. I don't know what year, 62 I think that one says there. Let me see the assembly there. So when you have this type of spring, let's grab that one that type of sprung metal in there, you need a slightly different spacer. You don't use that one. I think you just use that one with the bent metal pin. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Get all this in shot. So if you've got this sprung wire type affair, I'm going to put that down, then we might get focus on it. If we've got that type, I think you need that spacer to hold it in position. And if you've got this type, you need this, which looks a bit more like a Meccano nut, although I don't think it is. It doesn't thread onto the bolt that comes right through. It just sits in it and just holds it in place. But I don't have any spares of those, so that's definitely something I need to look out for, something which will do that job. Let's put those to one side. We'll better put them away at some point, otherwise we'll lose them. Let's pop that over there. So I've got these wagons. Now I bought these we'll rephrase that. I bought these four long time ago from our local model railway shop, and somebody very, very kindly gave this to me when I was at Leicester. Yeah, last time I was in Leicester. So it's quite some time ago, because the last Leicester show I didn't get to because of weather conditions, but I've been to Gaydon since. Somebody kindly gave me that one, and I already had these, and obviously I've never managed to really do anything with them. So what I was looking at in the catalogue is this 62 catalogue. They're pictured with a load. This is my Italian shop copy, I think. So it has some Italian notes written in here. So it's got prices in lira. So I'll pop that to one side. So this 62 catalogue, that shows up with a load, and then this catalogue, which I think is 58. Let me just re-grasp the camera here. So in here the same wagon appears without a load. It doesn't seem to have an option for a load. Let's just have a look at the cover so we know which one we're talking about. So that Meccano Toys of Quality, I think that's 58. But yeah, so I think they were possibly sold over the period of time with and without loads. I don't know whether it was an option or when it changed. So I thought I might develop a load or cobble something together, as it were. So we'll come back to that. Actually, no, we'll stick with it. So I had thought of some rails. So I have rather a lot of spare rail is the wrong word, but duff rail. Let's have a quick look here. We've got an ever increasing pile of odds and ends. So I think I can find enough sorts. Pieces which are no good for using, which I could trim up and make a load, so that's an option. Don't think putting pieces of track on work well. I know there is an early 70s Hornby wagon with sections of System 6 track line on there as a load. Or I've had this piece of timber lying around. I think that's is it 4.5 or 5 mil section, square section. So I may cut that up, or I've got some balsa wood hiding, but I can't remember where it is. I could make some sort of sheets to go on. Anyway, I'm going to run out of time this evening to do that. So what I'm aiming to do is to come back to this a little later in the week when I've done a little bit of work on it, or doing a little bit of work on it, and we'll see how we get on. One of them, however, is going to require, well, they're all going to require a little bit of cleaning. That one's got plastic wheels and the plastic couplings. I think they're spoked. Yeah, they've got spokes on them. This one also has the plastic wheels, but has metal couplings. So we've got the plastic couplings, metal couplings, and these have, yeah, this is the comedy one. I didn't realise this when I bought this. Obviously never used it. Have a look at the wheels as these run. So a little bit out of true, shall we say. So I think we're going to have to do a wheel change on this one, or we could just ignore it and play with the others. And these two all have the metal wheels. Let's have a look at the pace of one of them there. So we've got Hornby Dublo on there. We've got Made in England and Meccano Limited down there. So the wheels are quite nice on these. All could benefit with a bit of a clean. So what I'll do later in the week is we'll get the camera strung up so we can have a look at these, and we'll remove the wheels from, is it that one? we'll get these comedy wheels out, and we'll get another set in there. I've got we'll better find ourselves another set of wheels, I'm sure. So I've got some bits and pieces in there, and I think we'll better get the wheel hangers out of there without breaking them. But yeah, so we'll cut back to that at a later point. So yeah, apart from that, not much else has changed on the railway, but I had a good play with it over the weekend. I'm really pleased to have got that point in. So here we are a few evenings later, and I've just got back to this. And I had a few offcuts of rail. I've just trimmed them up to a similar length. And I think they could look quite good sitting on a wagon like that. Let's see if we can get those. Obviously I'm looking down with the camera, so it's not the best way to look at that. So that could be like a steel load on the way somewhere, not necessarily rails. I'm not sure whether you would use rails of that length, but I have on the railway. And again, you can use anything we like, but I think they could look quite good. I'm not sure. I think I had this with slightly less on earlier on. I think I took two off, and it looks more. Looks like a nicer spacing. Let's see if we can get that. Let's put that down for a second and see if the focus will follow me down here. So I think I had these spaced like that, and it looks quite good. Whoops. Although I had them standing that way around, it seems all of a sudden more difficult to place these on here with the camera running than it did when I was fiddling with these a little earlier on. So let's get those down there like that. And a relatively nice even spacing. So I thought that looked sort of good. If you look carefully at the rails, they're not perfectly straight, which is why they're not being employed elsewhere. So I think that could look like quite a nice load. Let's just take those to one side. So I've gone ahead and cleaned this wagon up, and just given it a good brush over, and cleaned up the wheels. I'm quite pleased with those. Runs quite nicely. Just had to tighten up a couple of the clips at the top there. They were very, very loose, and letting the wheel hangers drop too low down, which was causing a little bit of an issue. When you put them on the rails, it wasn't seated quite nicely. The couplings are quite nicely adjusted on there. So what I did was just use a little bit of Pledge, which is a popular cleaning product here in the UK, with a nylon brush. So I'll just use that. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. So the other load I quite like the look of is these little bits of timber. I showed you that long length I had lying around. So I think that looks quite effective as well. The balsa wood, I've got a pack of, a variety pack of balsa wood I bought from the model store years ago to do something else with, and largely didn't use any of the rest of it, just used one piece. So typically I can't find it. So I think that's quite nice. I think that possibly is a more impressive looking load than the rails. So I think we might cut a few more of those. I've certainly got enough of it to do so. So let's have a quick look at cleaning this one up. Let's put that one to one side and that one to one side. I'll just give this a little bit of a spray onto this saucer there. And this is one of those nylon brushes we get from the discount store, and they come in packs of 3, a steel one, a sort of brassy copper looking one, and this one's got nylon bristles on it. Seems to be quite good for things like this. So we could just give this a gentle brushing like this. Now I have used the other the other version of the Pledge furniture polish, which comes without the aerosol element to it, but it's just like a squirting bottle, more like you'd water plants with, and so it's not pressurized. I have to say it doesn't work as well. It tends to it doesn't leave the surface anywhere as near as sort of with a nice sheen on it, and that goes for cleaning genuine furniture with it as well. And there's something not in it which is in the aerosol can, which is probably terribly bad for you in the aerosol can. So maybe, I don't know, I've got a bottle of it, and it sits unused in the kitchen because it just doesn't work. So enough of that. So I think this cleans this up quite nicely. I haven't overbrushed it around where the markings are, and let's give that a little bit more of a brush there. And I think that just enlivens it. I'll just get a cloth here and begin to give that a bit of a wipe. And you can see that's going to come up relatively nice. So, whoops, we're attached there. So from something that looks all dusty and murky like that, that sort of enlivens it a little. And that looks quite good. I don't think I'm going to get into bending these stays really, but we will have a look at the wheels. So for the wheels, where they're all sticky and black with sort of track gunge and dirt, I have used some petrol and a cotton bud, but also I quite like, I've used the brush on the copper brass brush on the rotary tool, which tends to clean these up quite nicely. I think, is it just out? I've left it over here. I'll just see if I can grab this. It's going to be far too noisy, but this does clean these up quite nicely. And it does the axles quite well as well, and leaves relatively little pressure. Let's switch that off. Again, it's far too noisy, you get the general idea. So, but if it's all sort of thick and greasy, all that does is sort of spread it around really rather than pull it off. So any sort of, built up gunk, it gets quite thick on some of them as it picks up off the rails. But I think a little bit of an effort with that over the next few minutes off camera is certainly going to make a huge difference to that. So we'll pop that one down, and one of the ones, I can't remember which one it was, one of the ones with the plastic wheels, let's get some focus here. The camera's suddenly not behaving. There we go, we've got it back again. So there was quite a bit of rust, and the metal is quite affected there. And one of the wheel hangers is very, very rusty on one end, so I have begun to take one of these out. I can't see which one it is on that side there. So I think that one was just about to pull away. And you see, I think that one has been wet and damp at some point. If you look at the inside of that, so I'm going to go ahead and release the rest of those out of this one and give those a tidy up, straighten the wheel hangers out a little bit. So hopefully that will improve that, and we'll give these axles a bit of a clean as well, or axle ends, if I look in there. So we'll give those a clean up, but again, that'll be incredibly dull on camera. I think I'm just going to use soap and water under the tap, give these a wash, warm soapy water. So I'm not going to string up the camera on there. And we'll give this a gentle brush out and clean up those with the rotary tool as well, and see what condition they're in, whether they need replacing or not. And to remove these tabs, they're not incredibly well pushed down to start with, so I've got this very fine screwdriver, and I was just easing the tab up there. Again, all of a sudden seems incredibly difficult to do when I'm looking at the camera, something that was quite simple before. So we don't like to bend these too much, but I think we should be able to get these out with relative ease. Although that one, yeah, there we go. I thought that was stuck in with the rusting and all the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Where the metal goes white. I don't know. You see me stuck for words here, but I'm sure many of you will know the word I'm looking for. So I think probably that's going to clean up relatively well as well. So let's see if we can just have a quick go at the rotary tool and see what comes off that, and see if it's worth using again. Yeah, I think we're going to be in good shape with that. So again, I will go ahead and tidy that up off camera. And where was the other one? We've got the one with the bent wheels somewhere as well. So that's this one. So again, I think we'll have the wheels out of there. I did think about putting a wheel load on these, but it doesn't look quite right with the wheels on. So I think that's probably not a load that we're going to encourage on there. I think I'll probably take the wheels out of this one and clean it up afterwards. So let's just ease that up there. And let's see if we can release that really bent wheel. doesn't want to come away. So let's see if I can just push this down with a slightly stronger screwdriver. Maybe that one's rusted. No, there we go, it's just popped. So I think we can ease that one out, one-sided. Wheel hanger's looking quite nice condition there. So we'll pop that down, and I'll take out the other hanger while we're here. He says hopefully. So I think that requires this very, very fine screwdriver again, just to get under there. You could just pop in the blade of a knife under there, pick that up, and just slowly bend that out. And we'll just pop a little bit of pressure on there, and that comes out. So these are all in nice condition. No sort of rust or anything creeping into the wheel hangers with this one. So I'll just choose a couple of these slightly nicer wheels to go back in there. So I think I'll get all that back together and all those cleaned. We'll adjust the couplings and see if we can get slightly better behaviour out of them, and we'll get those onto the rails. We're on Saturday evening now, and I've got those wagons finished off over the latter part of the week. So I'm going to get the tank locomotive out of the engine shed now. So I'm just going to rotate the turntable. We've got this lovely crude clasp here we undo, and then we'll just rotate that round a little. Let's listen for it to slot into position. I love that, and it's a reasonably accurate thing. I think as accurate as it needs to be. So we're just going to switch out number 11 here. We want to make that straight, so we're bound to make some mistakes with this. I've got this planned out in my head what I want to do. So I need number 18, which is sitting underneath the EMU there, so we need to make that one curved. I don't know whether we could see that. And that will feed energy down the line to there. So let's just give a little power now. So I've got the handheld there. So let's just ease that out onto the turntable. There we go. I never do like stopping that on there. I always end up shooting over the end of the turntable if I'm not concentrating. So we need to undo that clasp again, and then rotate that around. So I think I need to undo that one more. It'd be great to have an electric one of these with a stepper motor in it, but I think probably beyond my capabilities at the moment, that sort of electronics. So let's give this a little bit of a go now. So we'll roll that backwards gently. I think we're just beyond the points enough there. And then we'll switch number 10. So we'll make those curved. And then we'll roll that forward up towards the footbridge. And a gentle stop there. So we'll switch 10 again. So we'll close those. And then we want number 12 open. So let's open that. So curved, sorry. I can't remember whether I've got both sides switched on. No. There we go. I've got the other side switched off, so we can safely go transfer from one line to the other now. So let's roll that backwards. And it's got a very temperamental bogie or truck on the back here. It doesn't like some of the point work backwards. It's very light. I think it could do with a little bit of sort of weight on it. Let's close number 12. And I'm going to close number 18 before I forget about it. So that's the switch down here. So we'll make that one straight. So I'm just going to energise the other side of the railway now, so we can switch that one on. And I need the other controller here. So before I forget which one's which, I'm going to hang this one back up for a moment. There we go. Sorry, I was pointing down there. We'll grab this one, which I've got a dot on to try and remind me which is which. Not a fail-safe. So let's roll that around the railway now. Makes a lovely sound under that footbridge. And we're just got to take it underneath the elevated section a little way beyond point number 1. About there should do it. So point number 1 hiding under the elevated section there. We'll make that one curved. Now I think I left all of the rest of these points all set in the correct direction, so ideally nothing else moves and the tank locomotive picks up that load of wagons. So it's a nice plan. So let's give that a go. So we'll roll that backwards. I'm not sure whether I've got those. Sort of looks alright. Let's see if we can ease that out onto that line now. Focus shifted onto the elevated section instead, so I'll give that some power. It's quite a heavy load. Off it goes under there, so let's bring it round and then I'm going to go back and change point number 1 before I forget about it. Let's jump down here. Let's just bring that to a stop there. So I'm going to change point number 1 while it's on my mind, otherwise we'll get bogged down in doing something else. So there we go. So we should be able to run all the way around now. So let's just set that off and running. Let's see if we can get a couple of nice shots of that. Got the brake van or guards van on the back end there. Lovely valve gear on this. You can see the workbench all a bit of a mess. Not getting the chance to tidy up. So let's come down the other side of here. So we'll try and grab some control over that. Looking pretty good. So what I want to do is bring that onto the inside line now. So I've got to get this all the way back round. That's going to disappear under the station. Too many things on the railway at the moment. It's too difficult to move stuff around. That's going to come under those bridges. Let's get a gentle stop there. You can hear the clatter of those wagons, almost sort of bell-like as they come on over certain points of the track there. So we'll open that or make that curved. And let's see if we can bring that. Actually, I just need to change the controller again. So I want to go. Let's just turn that one off. Sorry, I'm pointing in the wrong place. And we'll switch back to inside line controller. So we'll give that a little power. Well, that terrific sound as that runs through there, isn't it? So let's just close those points. So we'll give that a go. There we have it. So let's just run that around. So we'll have a go around both the circuits today. It's going to run down the back of the station And I think next time around, perhaps we'll bring that through the station. Actually, I can't bring that through the station. I've just realised why I can't bring that through the station, because I've got something sitting in the station. Let's have a look what we can do about that. So, I could isolate that there. So I want number 12 curved. Sorry, curved. And I can't remember what we're number 13 over there. So we'll make 13 curved. So if I'm correct now, that should stay put. Yeah. Right, let's get the Duchess out of here. So I want points number 4, 5, 2 and 3. Could have done those in the other order. So ideally that Duchess will now move away and the tank locomotive will stay still. It's a good plan. Yeah, the Duchess is behaving so much better now. Not as much wheel slip. And this will run onto the outside line there. There we go. So I'm just going to split the railway again. So we'll close number 13. Get the right switch. So that's that set of points under there. And we'll close number 12. So that's that set of points there. So you could wire those 4 up to run together, but you don't always use them all together, so it's I think it's more versatile that way around. So if I split the railway again, so just there we go. So we're on 2 separate sides of the controller. Now I can run that freight train into the station or through the station, which is sort of what I wanted to do beforehand. So ideally I've got the correct controller this time. So again, just a bit of a play with the trains. Let's see if it comes to this point work okay. Oh, it looks quite splendid coming through there. Ooh, I've lost something. We've lost half of the train. Well, nearly half of the train. I thought I'd got those couplings all good. Let's have a look. Is that plastic too? No, it's metal to metal. There we go. Let's see if we can drag those around now. That's a bit better. Let's leave that there. And let's see if we can have one go with the Duchess. I've got the mail coach on there. I was fiddling with that earlier in the week because those pickups have become so sort of stiff on the bottom of there. It was actually, I've got a mailbag already made up. So we'll go once around with the Duchess to start with to gain a little bit of speed and momentum. I'm sure that was going to make everything feel better. Also looks rather good. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but when I picked that controller up, I think I've got a dodgy cable in here. So it made everything run. See, I had that there, and I've switched it back to handheld, to a normal off handheld. Let's switch it back onto handheld, and we'll have a look what happens over there. Nothing's happening over there. Let's pick this up, and yeah, I think I've got a broken wire in there. So we'll go back to this. We'll unplug that because that's obviously causing some problems. So I have inadvertently damaged one of these before. It's because I dropped them, and you get a fractured wire in there. So I'll put in a drop-in picture of the fix on that. So it's just trimming the cable off and finding the broken bit. It's going to be in there where I've caught it. So let's pop that back there, and let's get the Duchess running on the handheld, not the handheld, just off here. So hopefully we haven't derailed, because I didn't really want to roll backwards that quickly. Let's give this a go. That was a bit of a shock, that. So absolutely effortless. This is the one with a horseshoe in it. So let's let that run around, and then we'll activate the button as it comes around next time. So let's just have a look where the button is. Button's down here. So if I hold the camera up, and there it is coming down the straight. So let's get the camera over here, see if we can see the pickup. Button pressed in. So I think we've got a pickup there. Let's see if we can watch this charge around. And can we get back to the button in time? Right, we'll let that make its way around the far side of the railway there, and we'll come back over here in readiness. There it is, coming around the corner of the room. And let's see if it drops that mailbag in there. Button pressed in. So do we have a mailbag in there? Yes, we do. Let's pull that one out of there. Alright, we'll take a bit of control over that. I think it's looking rather good coming round there. And then we'll bring that gently to a stop. There we go. So let's just have a look at one of these wagons. We'll just pinch one off the rails. We'll pinch a couple of them off the rails. There we go. There's one, and there's two. So we've got one with plastic couplings. So just cut a little bit of that timber, a little bit of black tack underneath to hold them into place, and just clean those plastic wheels up. I think I said I was going to give those a wash. So I had some of the hangers out on these as we saw earlier, and they're all much nicer now. So again, that one's a plastic wheeled one. Let's have a look at a metal wheeled one while we're at it. I have got the dodgy wheels I took out just over there, so all quite nice and smooth. So quite a lovely set of wagons. I think that they're quite nice. Let's just have a look at these comedy wheels which came out. So I don't really remember how bent they were. You see how they're sort of like off a clown car, those, aren't they? So I think that's probably it for this week. If you look back again next time, we'll have something else interesting to look at. I'll try and get a little bit of a look at the inside of that controller as I get it all fixed up again. So I'm sure it won't take much to sort it out. Goodbye now.